BTS News Today. The sun had yet to fully rise over the Seoul sky when one by one, black-tinted cars stopped in front of an old building that had been renovated into one of South Korea's most exclusive photo studios. From the outside, it looked ordinary. But inside, a different world was being prepared, a world that would reveal another side of Jungkook, BTS's golden magne, not just as an idol, but as a true artist. That morning, the production team from a prestigious fashion magazine was tense. They weren't expecting an ordinary celebrity, but someone who had become a global symbol of creativity, dedication, and transformation. The live photo shoot planned for the day wasn't just a regular shoot. The entire process, from beginning to end, was being streamed live through various official social media channels, watched by millions of fans across the world. But none of them expected that what happened behind the scenes would be far more surprising and touching than the final result. As the main door opened and Jungkook stepped into the room, the entire crew seemed to hold their breath. He wore an oversized gray hoodie and black training pants. His face was makeup-free, hair slightly messy, but his charisma filled the room instantly. Yet, the most surprising part wasn't his appearance, it was the energy he brought. Instead of heading straight to makeup like usual, Jungkook approached each crew member one by one, bowing respectfully, greeting them warmly, even asking whether they had eaten breakfast. One of the makeup team whispered to her friend, "He's always like this, but today feels different, like he's hiding something." And it was true. Jungkook observed more than usual. He paid attention to how the sets were built, how the lighting was arranged, even offering occasional suggestions to the photographer regarding camera angles. When the live stream began, the public witnessed a confident Jungkook in front of the camera. He switched outfits from independent Korean designers to global fashion brands, all while showcasing his personal, honest side. But what viewers didn't see was what happened when the cameras stopped rolling. Moments when he sat alone in a corner of the room, staring at the monitor, occasionally tapping keys on his laptop. That a creative director staff later revealed that 2 days before the shoot, Jungkook requested the full visual concept designs from the team. He wanted to understand the story behind each set, each color, even every accessory he would wear. He said, "I don't want to just stand and pose. I want to understand why I'm doing it." That's when we knew this was going to be different. And it was. In the middle of the shoot, during the Burning City theme, which depicted a feeling of isolation amid fame, Jungkook took over the set. With blazing eyes, he asked permission to adjust his expressions and gestures. Then, spontaneously, he pulled up a chair and sat with his back to the lights, casting dramatic shadows across his face. The photographer, initially hesitant, was stunned silent after the first click. The result? A single frame instantly hailed as a masterpiece by the artistic team, but the surprises didn't stop there. Around 2 p.m. local time, when the live shoot was scheduled to break for lunch, Jungkook gathered the entire crew in the center of the studio. He stood before a large screen and asked everyone to pay attention. "I know I'm here as a model," he said, "but I'm also an artist. And as an artist, I want to share something." The screen then played a 1-minute and 47-second video montage, edited by Jungkook himself the night before. It showed behind-the-scenes slices of life: a child chasing a balloon, an elderly flower vendor in a small Seoul alley, nighttime rain sliding down an apartment window, and finally, the faces of the studio crew working for him that day. "I want you to know," he said after the video ended, "that when I stand in front of the camera, I bring all your stories with me. Not just because you're part of today's work, but because you're all artists in your own ways." The room went silent. A young lighting assistant who had only been working for a few weeks began to cry. A normally stern producer started clapping, quietly at first, then louder. The once busy studio turned into a space filled with emotion. The live stream resumed soon after, but with a completely different energy. The camera captured Jungkook bathed in golden light from the studio's large windows. His smile was soft, his eyes full of depth. He wasn't just posing, he was conveying a message. A message about appreciating every process, every person behind the scenes, and every silent emotion. Toward the end of the session, the production team replayed clips from the day's shoot. But what shocked the studio was a photo that suddenly appeared on the big screen. A candid of Jungkook leaning down, hand resting on the shoulder of an exhausted staff member, With a soft smile, never seen on any official footage, it was an unplanned, candid shot, captured by the photographer who felt the moment was too sincere to miss. "This is it," the photographer later said. "This isn't about fashion. This is about who he really is." As the session wrapped up, staff began packing up equipment. One by one, lights were turned off, backdrops folded, and the studio slowly quieted down. But Jungkook stayed longer. He helped fold the backdrops, moved chairs back to their place, and even handed out iced coffee he had ordered earlier for the entire crew. One staff member asked him, "Why are you doing all this? You could have left already." Jungkook smiled, patted the staff's shoulder, and replied gently, "Because today, I'm part of you all, and I know how tiring days like this can be." That night, as the black car picked him up again, one thing was certain. The day wasn't just about viral photos or stylish outfits. It was about how one person could transform a workplace into an unforgettable memory. Jungkook didn't just show up for the world. He showed up fully, with heart, empathy, and respect. And as the world admired the final results of the live shoot, what they saw wasn't just a handsome face or perfect poses, but the soul of a young artist who knew that true art comes from genuine presence. The next day, trending topics across platforms weren't limited to Jungkook photo live or best Jungkook pose, but also hashtag he is more than an idol and hashtag behind the light, hashtag spread by the studio crew who experienced the quiet magic of his presence. Because in the end, it wasn't just the posing that made Jungkook special, it was everything he did behind it. And from behind the scenes, the world learned one thing: Jungkook never does anything halfway. Behind the spotlight and camera flashes, there is always a soul giving everything. That evening, after leaving the studio, Jungkook didn't go straight home to his dorm or private residence. Instead, the car took him toward Han River, a place that had long been an emotional retreat for many BTS members. There, still in the same hoodie and with a cap pulled low, he sat on a wooden bench, gazing out at the calm water as the night breeze softly tousled his hair. He held his phone, opened a basic video editing app, and began piecing together behind-the-scenes clips from the day. Not for promotion, not for official content, but for himself. A visual journal of a day that felt incredibly alive. Shortly after, he received a message from Jimin. "Hyung heard about the live shoot today. They said you made everyone in the studio cry." Jungkook smiled faintly, replying, "I was just being myself." But for some reason, everything felt deeper today. Jimin didn't take long to reply. "Because you didn't just perform. You showed up, Kook. That's the difference." The conversation ended there, but the meaning lingered in Jungkook's chest. He looked back at the river, recalling one specific moment in the studio that afternoon, when he quietly walked into the tiny kitchen area and found a young female crew member silently crying in the corner. At first, he hesitated to approach, but eventually, he found the courage to softly ask, "Are you okay?" The woman was startled, quickly wiping her tears. "Sorry, I'm just tired. It's been a tough day. I thought I was just a small, unimportant staff member, but when you played that video and I saw my face, I felt seen."